one of the finest defenders of his generation.
He emerged from the West Ham United Youth Academy before moving on to Leeds United.
A lot of questions were asked when Manchester United paid £30 million for him all those years ago.
Rio Ferdinand's made it into the top 10 because he's been a big wage earner now for something like approaching 13, 14 years. He's still earning around about £130,000 a week.
Rio Ferdinand is the textbook rags to riches story. He did come from a poor background. He's worked his way to the top through sheer talent and hard work, and therefore he's an amazing role model for young children.
Without a doubt, Rivaldo is one of the greatest players of the last 25 or 30 years.
In the early 2000s, Rivaldo stood alone as the best player on the planet.
He's a magical player who brings flair and creativity, and of course he is blessed with that sort of Brazilian icing, if you like, which is very attractive from a branding and from an image point of view. It's fantasy.
He's a bully of sorts, and he's always made teams if he's played in his own.
His brand and his image, in a way, is unlike any other top player out there.
It's been difficult for Zlatan Ibrahimovic to put down his roots at any one club, and he has been on the move numerous times over the past decade. Now, while a certain amount of personal relationship trouble may have prompted some of these moves, one point that can't be overlooked is that his agent is Mino Raiola, who loves his players on the move and doesn't like them to spend too long anywhere.
Yves has got a fantastic ski resort in Sweden. He also lives in Paris, and he's got homes in Milan and New York.
The whole wrangle in October 2010 when he put in a transfer request and then ended up signing a new contract at United.
Rooney himself enjoyed a substantial pay rise in line with perhaps some of the biggest salaries in the Premier League at that time.
Wayne Rooney, when he emerged 11 years ago, was tipped to become one of the greatest English players of all time. He has fulfilled a lot of that potential at Manchester United, but there is still a little bit more talent that needs to be tapped in before Rooney will be regarded as an all-time great.
The strength of the Premier League is without doubt, and this top 50 reinforces that fact. And for Wayne Rooney to perhaps be the best, in many people's eyes, the best English player in the Premier League, without doubt, has benefited him enormously.
Samuel Eto'o, widely regarded as one of the greatest African players of all time, is, in my opinion, the greatest African player of all time.
After qualifying for the South African World Cup, Samuel Eto'o spent £800,000 on watches for his international teammates.
One of the big problems now for Samuel Eto'o is he's essentially off the radar because he doesn't play in one of Europe's biggest leagues. He's in relative isolation there with Anzi Makachkal in the Russian league.
I think the pay must be an enormous factor in that move.
You can't blame a guy, especially when you think about his background. He's got an academy in Cameroon, he still sends money back to Africa. You can't blame a guy for wanting one last payday. In terms of pure skill, he's one of the best players we've seen in the last 10 years. Some of the things he could do with the ball were absolutely mesmerising.
You're talking about a man who reinvented the playmaker role during his time at Barcelona with his skills and his flicks and his trickery, his through balls and his goals. He was the last player, in my opinion, who was a joy to watch every week.
Since winning the 2002 World Cup, he's had tremendous increase in earnings, both on and off the pitch.
He's also been a poster boy and has enjoyed many, many endorsements off the field with the likes of Nike, which have netted him enormous wealth.
During his AC Milan heyday, was the player that they all looked to make something happen. And this was in a team full of genuine superstars like Paolo Maldini and Clarence Seedorf.
Shame now that when we think of Kaká, we think of this guy sitting on the bench and by far playing second fiddle to Cristiano Ronaldo, because at his best he was a tremendous player.
Without doubt, if a player's not playing regularly, it will start to affect his commercial abilities off the field. In the case of Kaká, he's got a brand that's so strong that he can, to a degree, carry on earning substantially off the field despite this fact.
He's the type of player who can make things happen on his own.
Ever since he moved to Real Madrid, he just scores goal after goal after goal. In any other era, Cristiano Ronaldo would be by far and away the best player in the world.
He runs a fashion label, CR7, with his sister, which
Hasn't done too well. They've closed several of them, and the only one remaining is in Madeira.
brands are attracted to that kind of look, to the look he has, to the athleticism he brings, to the type of football he plays, and undoubtedly that's helping him enormously.
The superlative roll off the tongue.
His low centre of gravity.
The ball sticks to his foot like glue.
His ability to find a pass in and around the area.
He just does things that make your jaw drop.
His dribbling and his unerring finishing.
In every single game.
All mean that Barcelona are possibly in possession of the most potent attacking footballer that there's ever been.
Financially, he's recently signed a new contract worth in the region of £250,000 a week. The image rights is a massive part of negotiation, and the sheer volumes of cash that he can generate now through commercial deals and also through the recognition that he generates is a massive part and is only getting bigger.
Sexy.
Overrated.
Business acumen.
Media circus.
I don't know.
A brand manager's dream.
Golden balls.
Hollywood.
He's clearly a player who's going to grow the profile of PSG overnight. He's someone who's going to shift shirts.
As a famous footballer, Beckham is a recognised brand throughout the world, and therefore his employers pay him for his image rights that have got a monetary value.
Off-field earnings are still increasing despite the fact that his prowess on the pitch is perhaps not what it once was.
The thing with Beckham is, for all the publicity and all the hype that surrounds him, he is a very, very focused player. He works very hard in training. He's always kept himself in superb shape, and he's never ever said no. He's always been committed 100%. He showed that with his England career, and he's still a very useful player coming off the bench for the last 20 minutes to close out games.
When you look through his career, and he's worked with the likes of Carlo Ancelotti, Fabio Capello and Alex Ferguson, and these are serious professionals who wouldn't tolerate anybody in the team who wasn't meriting their place.